So when, if ever, is it okay for a business to refuse service to someone? That's the question we're asking after a couple of stories caught our eye. First, the Supreme Court heard the case of this graphic designer who wants to create websites for couples getting married. Here's the thing, though. She wants to be able to refuse service to same-sex couples because it goes against her religious beliefs. Then there's this story about a Virginia restaurant that canceled the reservation of a conservative Christian group that they made. The restaurant explained that it refused them because they're a political organization that works to deprive women and LGBTQ plus people of their rights. And they say that that made their staff feel uncomfortable and unsafe. So here's the question. Can a business refuse to serve people like this, or is this flat out discrimination? Where is that line? Tori, you live and breathe everything Supreme Court. So what is your opinion on this?
It's going to be surprising, I'll say that. Look, I just want to say this, I am not against same-sex marriage, but I am going to say I think she will win this case, and here is why. Those two cases don't have very much to do with each other because one is a political group and one is a protected class of LGBTQ. A political group isn't protected, so let's separate that.
Where would a religious, before you go on, group fall into your example?
So for her, let's just take her for example. She's in Colorado.
Is it the same as LGBTQ would be religious as
Correct.
well?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. So she's in Colorado, and we have a law.
The graphic designer,
and we have a law called public accommodation law that says you can't be discriminatory against certain groups, right? Well, she is claiming that law itself is violating her First Amendment right because if she wants to do a website and a same-sex couple wants to come in, she doesn't want to feel compelled by her government to have to write something against her religion. That is a First Amendment issue. It is a tricky one. It is threading the needle. Am I for the discrimination? No. But is it more important for the First Amendment? Which one trumps each other?
But here's the caveat, though.
Do you see what I'm saying?
But
I'm trying to break it down.
Yeah.
But here's the caveat. She's not just in her basement making websites for people. This will be an LLC. She hasn't even started the business yet.
Right.
But as soon as she starts those business, that's where the laws get a lot more firm and a lot more black and white. The gray goes away. So there's going to be a number of things that she's going to have to do in order to have the privilege of having a business in this country, this capitalistic country, where she can make a ton of money. So that may mean that she might have to file her LLC, pay $800, her taxes, have certain business hours, and she also has to abide by that Colorado law, being a business person here.
But not if she thinks that law is violating her right to freedom of speech. She is claiming that law that you just brought up is unconstitutional, and the only place she can go to it is the Supreme Court. They accepted it because this is a really big issue right now, right? Does her right not to feel compelled to express something against her religion trump Colorado's right to say, let's not discriminate against class, special protected class?
But the Supreme Court that accepted it, I believe, the Supreme Court 4 years ago, 2 years ago, would not have accepted it.
I agree with you.
I think there's a bias here that we're not talking about. And that's what worries me. Because listen, these are humans. These are individuals. There's a very slippery slope when you discriminate against someone. And I'll even argue for the conservative Christian group. I think if you're in business, you cannot discriminate against someone unless, of course, they come in and they are doing something so disruptive that it does make your environment a distraction or unsafe.
I think we're just looking at a very interesting trend right now because people are finding their demographics based on discrimination and people's feelings about it. This is a woman who doesn't even have a business. She's thinking about creating one. And now she's trolling to find who's going to support said business.
I don't agree with you. I think she's raising a very valid First Amendment speech. For instance.
Okay, but this is all hypothetical.
Agreed.
It's in theory. She ain't got no business.
But law is theory, and she's basing this on that theory. For instance, the Supreme Court ruled if you're a Jehovah's Witness kid, long time ago, decades ago, you don't have to recite the Pledge of Allegiance because it goes against your religion. They can't be compelled to speak. She is bringing the exact same question to say, I don't want to be compelled to write in a website.
But one is an education and one is consumerism. There is a really vast line in the sand between the two. What are your thoughts?
Here, I appreciate you taking the other side because I'm a little confused on it too. How is this different than saying this water fountain's for blacks or this water fountain's for whites? Or there's no Jewish people allowed.
Great question.
How is that different?
So this is only, and people brought that up on the case. The lawyer said, is this like having a whites only sign in the window? And the other lawyer said, no, this is only due to the religious aspect of not believing in a same-sex couple. So, again, I don't believe that. There's no religious basis to I'm racist. That's a different issue.
Okay, so how about no Jewish people allowed? No Catholic people allowed?
What religion says you can't have Jewish people? See, for her, it's a specific moment. When a man or a man get married, you are violating her feelings.
I get that, right? I'm trying to extend it to other things rather than just the LGBT. Yeah, exactly.
Like a
so why is it only LGBTQ community? Why can't it be like, we don't want Republicans in here? We don't want, like, how does it fall into that group?
So a political group isn't protected.
Or how it doesn't, should I say.
Like, certain marginalized groups are protected, and gay and queer people are protected. Political groups aren't. So there's an elevated security for them, and that's what the Colorado law says. You got to protect them.
So you're allowed, so again, maybe I'm confused.
It's state by state.
So you're allowed to discriminate based on political points of view?
Up to this point, yes. It's not a protected class. So in certain states, you are certainly allowed to do so. Now, again, some of this is private company versus the government. But the Jehovah's Witness, I say, is the government because it's a public school. This is her government saying you must write about something you genuinely don't believe in. That's what the First Amendment is there for.
I know, but again, education is different than having the privilege of having a business. But this is a great conversation.
And that's the other side.
A great conversation. We appreciate you for, again, taking the other side.
I don't like it at all.
No, thank you for that.
Well, no, it's a law, right? It's our Constitution. So I appreciate you saying that instead of just spewing words at each other and, like, discriminate against you or whoever it may be. So I like the conversation,
Thank you.